Are you an empath or are you just oversensitive? The word empath is an overused word. People seem to misunderstand the difference between empathy and sympathy. A psychologist, a doctor, or a healer of any kind has to have empathy. However, there's a big difference between being empathic, caring, and compassionate, and just being over-emotional. A psychologist or a doctor or a dentist needs to have all of the qualities of an empathic person without becoming a blubbering mess every single time a client walks through their door. Can you imagine a paramedic arriving in an ambulance at the scene of a serious accident and just throwing themselves to the ground crying as someone is dying rather than trying to stay calm and care for the injured? Being empathic and compassionate is no excuse for not having a clear understanding of where you end and another person begins. Being over-emotional in any healing profession would not be beneficial to the person that we are trying to help. In fact, most of the explanations out there about empaths give a sense that empaths are emotional vampires of some sort, feeding and living off other people's emotional breakdowns. Careful not to fall into this type of victim mentality, thriving on feeling sorry for others, feeding off the drama of others in order to feel alive or some sort of significance, which would be extremely unhealthy for anyone involved. I urge everyone to rethink their use of the word empath and recognize where one is actually being oversensitive rather than empathic. Recognize the inability to use the conscious mind over the emotional self. Emotions are absolutely necessary, but hindering if they completely control your decision-making skills. Someone whose emotions control their ability to make rational decisions and function on a daily basis is a victim of their emotions. An empath is useful in times of crisis. An over-emotional person can be useless in times of crisis. A true empath is a healer, and an over-emotional person is a victim. Emotions shouldn't stop you from accessing your consciousness. Interestingly, some people actually have competitions over how sensitive they are. Like it's a good thing to be overly sensitive. That functioning on a daily basis is virtually impossible. A healed healer is beneficial to many, but an unhealed healer who hasn't yet learnt how to work with their emotions and overcome their emotional demons isn't always very helpful. To teach others how to deal with their emotions, one must have an idea of how to cope with their own sensitivity levels and emotions out in public, social events, and even in anxious or crisis situations. We can't teach what we don't know. I urge everyone to rethink their use of the word empath and recognize where, in fact, they are actually being oversensitive rather than empathic. Also, notice where you aren't representing alignment between what you teach and what you are actually doing. If you like what I share, please follow me on Patreon under Carla Savannah. I hope you have an amazing day.